Hello students, hope you all doing good. In this class, we are going to learn about Java applets. You may wonder what these Java applets are. You will get the answers in the following classes. You need to listen these classes carefully so that you can able to understand the concepts of the applets. We'll move on to the first slide.
As you can see in this slide, we are going to learn the concepts of applet programming and how to write applet programs. What is the applet lifecycle and how to design a web page using applets and HTML. We will learn deeply about these topics and try to do our own codings. So hope you will be with me on this entire class. Now moving on to the next slide. In the slide, it is mentioned that Java supports two types of programming. One is application program and other one is applet program. So you may not understand these words. I hope so. But you all know that there is a concept called standalone applications and web applications, right? I hope you know you heard these words and you heard these terminologies, right? Standalone applications and web applications. These two things are the same ones, like application program and standalone applications are the same thing, and applet programming and web applications are the same thing. Like standalone applications are nothing but it is a self-contained programs that runs only or that runs independently on your computers, on a user's computers. It runs on a desktop application, like desktop applications. They do not require a web browser or a server to function. So I hope you understand. You could get the meaning of this standalone application terminology. So what do you mean by web applications? These applications run on a web server and are accessed through a web service. So it needs an. For the past 4 units, you all learned about core Java programs like how to create classes and objects, inheritance, interface concepts, packages, thread concepts, etc. Right? You all thought that the Java programming program has so many lines for such a small concepts, or there will be so much of lines to print a single statement, and you are all worried about programming to develop your own programs, right? I hope I'm not wrong about your thoughts. Coming to Java applets, you will be feeling the direct opposite of what you thought about programming, because applets are very small sized programs which will be using over the internet and will run on web browsers using servers. As you see in the slide, applet is a small program that are primarily used in internet computing that can be transported over the internet from one computer to another computer and run using applet viewer. So you will be using browser compatibility or an applet viewer to view your applets. Java applet, it runs within the web browser and is executed on the client side. Applets, there is an history for an applets, and I'll try to explain a bit in that part. Applets were once popular way to add dynamic content to the web pages. So you have learned about HTML or web designing. So you have learned that subjects, right? So applets were once used to add dynamic content to the web pages, but their usage has declined due to security concerns and the rise of modern web technologies. Applets usage was reduced because of the modern web technologies. So I hope you will be creating such. There is some characteristics of Java applets. So their applets run on the user's computers, not the servers. Okay. So there is a client side execution. So you have to run your applet programs using applet viewer on the client side, not your computer. Okay. And there's another characteristics like embedded in HTML. So your applet programs are integrated into the web pages using an applet tag and using your HTML tags. You have to create your own HTML file for to execute your applet program. So there will be limited functionalities for the applets. Applets have restricted access to the user's system to ensure security. So in this applet concept, there is a security issue, so that the applets usage have been reduced drastically in this modern society. So we have not using applets anymore, but this is your syllabus, and you have to know that there was an concept called applets, and you have to try to learn these concepts. So that's why we have put this concept in your syllabus. So there are some characteristics like client-side execution, embedded in HTML, limited functionality, and there is a life cycle for applets, and that life cycle will be a separate chapter and separate concepts in the upcoming classes. So you will be learning what is the life cycle of an applet in the following classes. Okay. So in this slide, you can see there is three more points. Java applet is a Java class that you have to embed in an applet HTML page and is downloaded and executed on a web browser. That was the same thing I was saying earlier. So applet cannot be executed directly. You cannot run your applet program directly. You need a web browser, an applet viewer, and you need an HTML file to execute your applet program. For running an applet, HTML file must be created which tells the browser what to load and how to run it. So that was the same thing I was saying before this. So I hope you learn what is applet. Okay, so we'll move to the next slide. So now, you may now think she's always saying we need to run the applets in the web browsers or on the servers. It will work only over the internet. Like that, she will always saying. You may think that ma'am was saying like applets will work only on the internet and all. For the past 4 slides, you may think like that. So I think I can hear your thoughts. So in this slide, we are going to learn how applets are working. So there will be 3 points in how applets are working. So first point is embedding. In the slide, you can read or you can see. Applet begins executions through loading of an HTML program containing it after the Java enabled web browsers or applet viewer is required to run an applet, right? So what do you mean by embedding? An applet is embedded in an HTML page using applet tag. So this one and the slide mentioned, what is mentioned in this slide was the same thing. So embedding means you will need an HTML document or HTML file within the applet program, so that only you can able to run or you can able to execute that applet program. So you will be getting that. After that only you will be getting an output. So that is the first point. Next, you can able to work on applet, or applet works by downloading. The next point is downloading. When a user visits the web page, the browser downloads the applet's bytecode, so that the applet will be working on an internet or over the web browsers or web servers. So you see in this slide now, the web pages are not only contain static text or simple image, but it can also perform arithmetic operations, display graphics, play sounds, and moving images. So you can able to create a graphics content. That's what I have mentioned in the earlier slide. So you are able to you will be able to create a graphics contents or dynamic content to the web pages using applet programs. So third point will be, we can embed applets into web pages in 2 ways. We can write our own applets or embed them into web pages. That was the same thing I was saying earlier. So we can download an applet from a remote computer system and then embed into one web page. This is the same thing I was saying about downloading. So there's a next how to execute an applet program. So Java virtual machine, the JVM on the user's machine will execute the applet. So not your computer is going to do any work. Java will JVM on the user's computer execute the applet. So now you can able to understand how will Java applet works. Okay. So we will see about the next topic in the next slide.